We're here at the start of the Kemmerer stage of the International Pedigree Stage Stop sled dog race. All the teams are out. We've got some quiet time, and I've got Wendy Davis, who is one of Lloyd Gilbertson's former racers and handlers, and we've got Lloyd Gilbertson here, owner of Caribou Creek Kennels. I wanted to talk with you two about how you communicate with the people who are driving your teams. Everyone has a slightly different language for talking about what their dogs do and what the dogs are capable of. And I know it's an extremely important thing. There's a lot of strategies in this race, which dogs to leave behind, which dogs to take. You have 12 dogs from a 16-dog pool maximum. Lloyd, how do you guys overcome some of those vocabulary and communication obstacles?
Well, I think probably the first thing is the importance of a thorough, critical evaluation. You know, looking at every detail and letting people know that we're going to look at every detail critically, not negatively. What's going on that we don't like? And you have your best run with your best dog team, there's going to be something in there that's not quite the way it could be. And then letting people know that they shouldn't take that personally. That's nothing. If they've been the ones out running those dogs and you see something or something goes on, maybe they step up and say, I made a mistake here, I did something there that, you know, I did that, but maybe not. They just see something, and I want a report, and I want a detailed report as we go through that particular training run for the day. In my program, in our early training runs on the cart training, I'm with them quite a bit, so we start to establish that vocabulary, get back, and then I want some comments on each and every dog in the team. And it might be, you know, Stina was invisible again. Yeah. You know, meaning you didn't notice anything. She's just there, and that's a very good thing. Yeah. You know? And then changes, of course. Is a dog changing? Do you see better stamina? Do you see them easier going between gaits as your training progresses and stuff? So that we have comments about each and every dog.
Now, a lot of people don't see the details, and we all know that the truth is in the details. Do you have to train your handlers to see those things, or do you think that they already have them, and you just that your handlers and runner and racers may see those details, and you just have to get them to notice them, or you just want to make sure they're communicated to you?
Well, I think people vary just like dogs. Their skills and abilities and their experience is different, you know, and we've had you know, lots of people with varying levels of experience. Some people, you know, can't get it. Some people never see those things, no matter how you point them out. That's just the nature of the game, you know. It's it's like me playing a video game. People laugh at that. You know, my 12-year-old granddaughter gets a kick out of me just operating my computer. Yeah. I'm not very good at it. I do it because I have to. You know, I'll never get as good as she is. Yeah, some people, it's an innate, hardwired ability to see those things. Yeah, what's your level of experience is one thing, but it's not always that. I know there's certainly people that have many, many years of experience running dogs that it seems like a lot of that's the same experience. They maybe haven't challenged themselves in different ways and stuff. And on the other hand, you get people fresh in that see things. Yeah. You know, I think when Wendy came in, there were a lot of things in her background that made it a little easier. You know, and I think one of the things was just a part of it was coming from a climbing background. The attention to detail is a life and death sort of thing. So you're looking at that, and when you're climbing along with people, you share those things. Yeah. You know. Sure. And that's an essential part
great analogy,
of doing it safely and having fun. That's the fun. Yeah. And not everybody does the right thing the first time, or not everybody sees this, and so you're backing each other up. Yeah. And that's kind of what we look at here when we're hooking dogs, harnessing dogs, examining dogs, talking about a training run and stuff. I think that's it. You have backup. Yeah. You know. Yeah.
That's fascinating. Yeah, that's a great analogy too. Wendy, can you give me an example of the kind of thing you'd come back from a race stage here whether it's a great run or a not so great run. But give me an example, the kind of specific things you'd mention to Lloyd about the dog, so he would be, so he'd be as informed as you possibly could make him.
Okay. If something eventful happened, good or bad,
Sure.
that's
The first thing you're going to say is the moose came across the trail.
Yeah, I'm sharing that. But in the end, like Lloyd said, often we're driving in the truck together. I can close my eyes and I go through each dog one by one and I say everything I possibly can. Whether, you know, let's say, you know, Lloyd used the example, Stina was invisible. I might say, you know, Stina's driving hard all the way through. I didn't notice any back off in, you know, at any mileage. She was excellent at all speeds. So because I am watching, if I just say, oh, she did great, there's no information there.
Right.
And if I get used to delivering that type of information, I'm going to stop watching.
Yeah.
So I have to picture her in my mind and say, yes, you know, she was hard on the line, you know, all the way out, all the way back, even at the 50-mile mark. So I'm making sure I'm noticing and checking in with every single dog. And I would literally close my eyes and go from the leaders to the wheel dogs one by one. And sometimes I would try to say every little thing at each dog's sort of turn that we were talking about them. But then as you know, let's say you move back in the team and you're talking about your 8th dog, that will remind you of, oh, right, and now I'm also remembering this. And then sometimes I might go through the day also, okay, let's say about mile 5, this is what we were doing, this is what everybody looked like. Then, you know, things started to change around mile 45, here's what I noticed, here's maybe what I think was going on. You know, and maybe that goes back to what I noticed at the truck in the morning. And so it's giving information, but it's also, you know, coming up with theories about maybe why a dog is behaving a certain way. Here's what I think I want to do about it.
Sure.
You know, I think.
And by going through that routine also forces you in the next run to think harder and try to catch those things and retain those so you can explain them again.
Yeah, I think the process of going through it verbally, systematically with Lloyd, and he would demo this for me when I was first learning, and then he would ask me to do it, and then I was doing it on my own for him, and we were talking. So it gets you in the habit of when you're out on the trail, you're watching every moment.
Yeah.
You know, because you know that you need to report.
You're going to be quizzed on it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important information that he can't get for us.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who can get it because I'm the only one out there. So I have to do a really good job.
Right.
And I always feel like when in doubt, say what it is.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't think it's a meaningful piece of information, I'm not going to decide that by myself. I'm going to tell Lloyd what the information is and say, do you think this is important? Because I don't. What do you think?
Yeah.
You know, so leaving nothing out. And especially in the beginning years with Lloyd, I was more the information giver and he was more the decision maker. And then as we worked together, tell me if you disagree with this, but I feel like we started to make decisions together. Yeah. You know, on our 4th or 5th year together.
Well, that leads into my next question as to, okay, you have the hands-on experience of being out there with the dogs. You relay this to Lloyd. Ultimately, it's Lloyd's team. He gets to decide who the 12 of the 16 are or the 10 of the 16. But do you guys share that decision? I mean, do you ever get to the point where, well, I don't think she really should run today, that sort of thing? Is it a group decision?
Oh yeah, I think when it's clicking good, you know, if Wendy's going to say to me, or if Anna would say to me, oh, that dog had trouble with this, I don't think we should take that dog. Right. I'm going to respect that.
It's hard for you to override that.
I may ask the question. I may ask some questions and try to get more specific about what's going on. So I'll look. But that's real important. And then it's a real dynamic thing too. You know, sitting here, it makes me think of when you won in 2007, and we were at this checkpoint, and we were having a real good race going on, and we had penciled in 9 dogs for this stage, which with athletic mushers, that's adequate. We train our dogs to pull real hard. That seemed like a real good thing to do. And I remember getting the sled out and pushing that and thinking, boy, I don't know if I like this wax.
We did the wrong wax.
It was not the perfect wax for right then. And that was kind of another story. Now we're getting the dogs down. And so we get the 9 dogs down. And when I bring Ram, who's been an incredible leader for us in some years, an everyday dog just about, he's not quite right.
Something's not right.
He's not quite right. And I can't remember the details really of if I even found any specific thing wrong.
We didn't.
Yeah.
But his behavior
Yeah.
was not normal.
Those are the intangibles, and
Yeah.
you really have to rely on your
And,
intuition.
and so raises the question.
Yeah.
So now you have that little question mark above that
Sure.
dog, and then the next question you ask yourself is, should we put that dog in the team?
Yeah.
And we did not. You know, we elected not to do
Yeah.
that. And I think for a lot of people, they get concerned maybe about how many dogs they're running. You could run 12 dogs
Yeah.
here, and if someone else is running 12 and you're not running 12,
Yeah.
you know, you're at a disadvantage. But you know, it doesn't always work that way. The one thing you have to make sure of is every dog that you have
Yeah.
is going.
You win by the ones you leave
Yeah,
behind.
and we've carried some, you know, so we
Yeah.
know how that works.
Yeah.
We've had it work the other way. And then Wendy ran that stage with the 8 dogs, and I think the wax got a little better later in the day as it warmed
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
but it was kind of one of those I thought, ooh, this, you know, this
Yeah.
didn't feel so good because all this is last minute.
Sure.
But, you know, off she goes. And I remember Grant Beck coming across the finish line first here in this, the way this stage works. And Wendy had left last, and he had 12 dogs, and they were stroking, looking really good. And I thought, well, this is probably Grant's stage here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too much later, and in fact, in about 6 or 8 minutes faster time than Grant, Wendy came with those 8 dogs and won the stage.
Yeah,
You know?
wow.
So that felt, and it doesn't certainly always work that way when you elect to have
That's a
8
good
dogs.
story.
Yeah.
But you know, that happened to be the Magic Carpet Ride,
Sure.
that race that year,
That's great.
where you could do very little wrong. I wouldn't say no
Mm-hmm.
wrong. We could do very little wrong.
Yeah.
And but that's an example of it. What's going
Yeah.
on with this dog? It's just
Sure.
a breath, I would say, of hesitation coming out of the box.
Yeah.
That's different than normal for that dog.
Sure.
Something.
You know, and that's the thing, you know, when they're so individual, their behavior, their attitudes are different, but you know them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. You've really got to rely on your intuition. You can take that dog, and maybe there's nothing wrong. You know, maybe
Yeah.
it's just something you saw that was just a weird little thing. It has no indication of the dog's health.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't want to carry dogs on a 60-mile stage. That's for sure.
No.
I think all of our communication, how everything is laid out on the table and we work together, allows, you know, 5 minutes before start time when Lloyd says we're pulling Ram out, I can say, okay,
Yeah.
I trust you.
Yeah.
You know, or when I come in and I say, I just have this feeling that, you know, this dog shouldn't be going tomorrow, and
Yeah.
Lloyd can say, okay,
Yeah.
you know, we trust each other, and and even when we make a mistake, we know that we're both doing the best we can.
Right.
You know,
Right.
there's no, and that's another thing that Lloyd and Mary have been excellent to me with is there's no blaming when things go wrong. They're always supportive.
Yeah.
And even when I'm part of the error, when I make a mistake,
Yeah.
and I think it's because they know I'm trying my best, you know,
Right.
and that's all you can really ask of somebody.
Yeah.
But we all
Yeah.
screw up, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's a really unique situation, or not so unique, but a very interesting situation to have someone else driving your dogs. Not very common in the sport, but sometimes it does happen. And hey, I appreciate your time, guys. We're getting near our YouTube limit of 15 minutes.
Alrighty.
So I have no editing capability here on the road.
Okay.
So we're just going to run this as it is. And really, thanks a lot, and good luck with the rest of the race, Lloyd.
Alrighty, thank you.
Okay, thanks.